So earlier this morning, the transcript between Donald Trump and President Zelensky of Ukraine was released, and it is a nothing burger. It is a nothing burger. There's nothing here. There's no quid pro quo, and the Democrats set themselves up for failure by overhyping what we could expect, with Nancy Pelosi coming out and all these Democrats coming out calling for impeachment before they actually saw anything. We get exactly what we thought. Nothing. Well, what was the response after we realized there's really nothing in this? It's not a real transcript, says a wave of people on Twitter. A trend, emerged. Not a transcript, they said. Now there's like an image going around where it says it's a memorandum. Look, they can never accept it. It will never be enough. It will never stop. Russia wasn't enough. Now we have this Ukraine nonsense, and the story is just ridiculous. Was there quid pro quo? Meaning, did Donald Trump offer anything in exchange for a favor? The answer is no. No. And the best they came up with that I see from, these politicos on Twitter is that it's mafioso-like language. In the transcript, Trump says something like, you guys have done great with us. We've done great with you. I don't want to say it's reciprocal. Later on, he then says, would you do us a favor and look into these things? He does mention Joe Biden's son, but it's very tepid. There's no agreement for exchange. And so the best they can say is that it was a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm sorry, you can't impeach someone based off of wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I feel like the whole thing was a setup. I really, really do. Because it's Russiagate 2.0. Now, this was fast. A lot of people have said, why didn't Trump hold on to this transcript for a little while longer, let him stew, and then drop it? Well, I think Trump realizes they're moving forward with impeachment. His plan is to just get it out quickly. It's not going to be another 3-year ordeal. I don't think Trump wants another Russiagate, but he does want the results of another Russiagate. 3 years of conspiracy, fake news nonsense. Well, now you've got, 200 or so Democrats calling for impeachment based off something they didn't see, based off of the claims of an individual who had no firsthand knowledge of what happened. It drops, the transcript. And what do we learn? It was a boring conversation for the most part. Trump says congratulations. He then asks that they look into a few things, a couple issues. But in reality, what Trump is accused of doing is almost the exact same thing the Democrats are doing. So there's nothing here. They built up this big hype. They told us 8 times Trump demanded he did this. No, he didn't. But they also say, but wait, Donald Trump was withholding military aid. Another bit of fake news. I have to think that Trump knew this was coming. Yesterday I said Democrats were walking into a trap. I don't want to make the claim that Trump is playing 4D chess, but the way it's played out, it really does feel like, at the very least, Trump knew what was going to happen and had a plan for it. And everything is falling into place to his benefit. Let's start with this story, so I don't just keep rambling and I show you all the sources I have. Trump asked Ukraine leader to look into why investigation of Biden's son ended, text of call shows. The president's phone call made from the White House residence to Zelensky lasted for 30 minutes. Before we get started, as per usual, head over to timcast.com/donate if you would like to support my work. There's a PayPal option, a crypto option, a physical address, but of course the best thing you can do is just share this video. Let me be honest with you. Depending on who you follow, you will hear an alternate reality. You will hear this as proof of Trump making demands, asking for favors, all of these things. And to an extent, some of it does make sense. I stand on the other side of the issue. I think it's another pathetic attempt at trying to drag the president down instead of talking about substantive issues because they know they can't do anything. They know they can't beat him. But I will tell you this. NBC News does an okay job. That's why I chose them for the primary source. But the New York Times is an opinion piece as far as I'm concerned, saying Trump did it. He did this. And for this reason, here's what he's trying to accomplish. And I'm like, you don't know any of this. Even the story from NBC News is a bit biased. It's opinionated. The general facts, Trump asked them to look into Biden's son. That's just about it. There was no offer, nothing exchanged. Anyway, the point is, share this video if you like it, because I'm competing against these big mainstream outlets and their bias. I could be wrong. It's my personal opinion on all of these issues, but let's read the news and see what's happening. They report, President Trump in a midsummer phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky asked him to look into why the country's top prosecutor apparently had ended an investigation of the business dealings of Joe Biden's son, who served on the board of Ukrainian gas company. Quote, Biden went around bragging that he stopped the prosecution. So if you look into it, so if you can look into it, it sounds horrible to me, Trump told Zelensky during a 30-minute July 25th phone call. I had a prediction. I was thinking the other day, what if it turns out it was Ukraine that brought up Biden and Giuliani and all that? And as it turns out, it kind of was. It's not so cut and dry. You know, there's never going to be that bombshell home run hammer when, being dropped where we see definitively that something is one way or the other. No, everyone's trying to frame it in a certain way to benefit themselves. They're trying to claim the Democrats, and Biden did these things. Ignore the politicking, okay? What I can tell you in this regard is a lot of what they're saying about Biden, conflict of interest, yes. Criminality, we're not there. No, we're nowhere near there. Is it worth looking into? Definitely. And I have a source I want to pull up about potential, look, I think Joe Biden's son was benefiting off the office, and there's a conflict of interest here that's worth looking into. This story fizzled out. Gone. Nothing here. So let's read on. They say the White House noted that the summary of the call was not a verbatim transcript, and that it represented a record of the notes and recollections of Situation Room officers and National Security Council policy staff who listened to official conversations. Yes, it's about as best as you can get. They're not going to call it verbatim because it was transcribed, not recorded. So later, Trump veers. So the phone call made from the White House resident began with Trump congratulating Zelensky. Later, he says, quote, "I heard you had a prosecutor who was very good and he was shut down, which is really unfair." Trump says, according to the transcript, which is all here. I don't want to read through it all. Trump then says there's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that what Biden stopped the prosecution, and a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the attorney general would be great. He then asked Zelensky to look into it. Zelensky replies that he's appointing a new prosecutor who will look into the situation. That is the only mention about Biden in the memo about the call. The call description is 5 pages long. Later on, Trump said in the call, so you see, you know what? Look what they do. Trump said in the call that he wanted Rudy Giuliani, his personal lawyer and attorney, William Barr, to talk to Zelensky. Except in the transcript, let me see if I can pull this up. Giuliani is brought up by Zelensky, not by Trump. You know what? So actually, let's not go through this. Let's do the breakdown. The first thing I want to show you is Kimberly Strassel, who's got a big Twitter breakdown that hits these points better than I can just read through them. She tweets. She's of the Wall Street Journal, mind you. She says, having read the DOJ's Trump-Ukraine release, here's the real story. This is another internal attempt to take out a president on the basis of another non-smoking gun. As to call transcript itself, Trump's actual favor is that Ukraine look backward to what happened in the 2016 election. This is a legitimate ask, since election meddling looks to have come from both Russia and Ukraine. I want to stop there and point this out. The Democrats wanted the same thing. There's nothing here. Trump asked them to look into what happened with CrowdStrike and what happened in 2016. On May 4th, 2018, several Democrats wrote to Ukraine asking that they do not obstruct Robert Mueller. Now, point. A lot of conservatives are trying to claim this is the Democrats demanding an investigation into Trump. Kind of. But let's be real. This is them saying, don't obstruct Mueller. We want to know what happened in 2016. That's what Trump is asking for as well. So I don't want to act like the Democrats are doing anything wrong, because all I can really say, Democrats wanted an investigation. They wanted Mueller to be able to investigate what happened in 2016, which, yes, does include Trump. And Trump wants them to look into similar things. Okay, Democrats, look in a mirror. Let's read on. Kimberly says, indeed, this is a big enough issue that we find out this morning that U.S. Attorney John Durham is looking at what role the Ukraine played in the FBI investigation. It is actually Zelensky who brings up Rudy Giuliani, saying they can't wait to meet him. And it is Zelensky who references that investigation, and he goes on to promise that all investigations will be done openly and candidly. Okay, I kid you not. Trump isn't the one who brought up Giuliani. It was Zelensky. Ukraine mentioned their assistant met with Giuliani, and they looked forward to it. And then Trump said, I'd like to get you on a call with him. I'd like to get you on a call with him and Bill Barr. Apparently, it turns out Trump never followed up on that. It's just, I can't believe, this might be a long video because this is insanity. Trump says good and expresses worries that a good prosecutor was shut down, mentions Biden's son, and that Biden bragged he stopped the prosecution. Ends that bit with, it sounds horrible to me. The New York Times wrote in their opinion piece, I'm going to call it an opinion piece, that there was no evidence of any of this. Is that a joke? Here's Will Chamberlain tweeting out the video that's gone viral a million times by now, where Joe Biden actually says he got the prosecutor fired by threatening to withhold a $1 billion loan. The evidence for a conflict of interest exists, and it was reported by the New York Times back in, April or May? Now they're saying there's no evidence. No, full stop. there's absolutely evidence that Joe Biden pressured Ukraine to remove a prosecutor that was investigating his son, period. Whether or not Joe was doing that to benefit his son is the bigger question. But the conflict of interest is there. It's proven. It's admitted by Joe Biden himself. Should we look into that? Sure. Should we check to see if there was a quid pro quo to benefit his son? Yes. It is a mirror image. It is them accusing Trump of doing what Biden admitted to be doing. We don't know if Trump was getting anything from Ukraine, and we don't know if Biden was trying to benefit his son. But he did it. Now, the left will say it was Biden's official duties. They were trying to work on corruption. Fine, that's fine. I don't care. I agree. Biden was working in an official capacity, says he got the good jobs, went to Ukraine, said get rid of this guy, he's corrupt. Okay. Why Biden? His son was on the board. It was a conflict of interest that needs to be looked into. Let's continue with Kimberly's commentary. She says Trump's several references to Giuliani are mostly to say what a great guy he is. He says he will have Giuliani and AG Barr call. He asked Zelensky to speak, work with both. And never mind, because DOJ in statement says the president has not spoken to AG about investigating Biden and has not asked the AG to contact Ukraine. Also, Barr has not communicated with Ukraine on this or any subject. So what is... It's nothing here. It's just Trump talking to a guy from Ukraine and they bounce back and forth and then nothing happened. It's a nothing burger. Meanwhile, the IG back in August referred to this DOJ as potential violation of campaign finance law based on whistleblower complaint. Criminal Division evaluated and determined no violation. All relevant components of the department agreed with this legal conclusion. Whistleblower. Look at this nugget, referenced in the OLC opinion. The IG's review found some indicia, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, of an arguable political bias on the part of the complainant in favor of a rival political candidate. Media got this so wrong, and Democrats look all the more partisan and radical to have moved forward with impeachment. Let's keep playing this game, okay? CNN, Trump admits he delayed Ukraine aid, but claims it was unrelated to Biden. This story from the other day, where they're saying, see, this is the quid pro quo. Trump froze $400 million in U.S. military and security aid to Ukraine days before he got on that phone call. Doesn't that prove? Basically now Ukraine is saying, oh no, our assets are being frozen. We're not going to get this loan. We better kiss up to Donald Trump and just tell him whatever he wants to hear. That's the claim. That Trump didn't have to directly tell them. He didn't have to directly say to them anything because he froze their funds. Isn't that the smoking gun? No, because Kenneth P Vogel of the New York Times said the Ukrainians weren't made aware that the assistance was being delayed until more than 1 month after the call. I am so sick of this. I'm so sick of this, man. And I know you are too. That's why you're watching a video like this. What are they doing, Democrats? What are they doing? Nancy Pelosi knew. In my video from 1 o'clock on my second channel, Pelosi said she thought Trump wanted this because it would fire up his base. And then in 6 hours, Republicans raised $1 million. The only thing they have that could be a smoking gun is that Trump froze the aid. But according to New York Times reporter Kenneth P Vogel, they didn't even know about it. And when I saw this, I said, yeah, but who's Kenneth P Vogel? Well, Ken Vogel, he was a former chief investigative reporter from Politico. He joined the Washington Bureau of the New York Times covering conflicts of interest, lobbying, and money in politics. Okay, I'm showing you his Wikipedia page because this is a special instance. Normally, he's verified New York Times. I'd say I'll take their word for it. But this is serious. If this is true, the Ukrainians weren't made aware assistance was being delayed until a month after the call. Was this? It was a trap. It was a trap. It was a trap. It was a trap. Trump, it's almost like he set it all up. He froze the aid, but didn't tell them, knowing it would be leveraged against them, knowing that when this all came out, they would then say, oh, there it is. Ukraine didn't even know about it. So how can you claim that was quid pro quo when they didn't even know it was happening until a month later? Here's the best part. Man, boy, do I love this. From the week. The other day, the Senate voted 100-0 to release Trump whistleblower complaint. And I immediately facepalmed. It's a trap. The Republicans are gaming the Democrats. They're roping them into this, and it is going to blow up in their faces. And now what do we have? I kid you not. The best they have right now is they're claiming it's not a real transcript. It's not a real transcript, everybody. Back away. Okay. Check this out. The Senate unanimously passed a non-binding resolution calling for the whistleblower complaint related to Trump's communications with, Zelensky and all. Okay. Here's the thing. I looked at some Reddit forums. It was a top trending story. And you know what the people were saying in the comments? The Republicans have finally realized they're on a sinking ship. Oh man, Mitch McConnell is selling out the party. No. Are you kidding, dude? Why would Mitch McConnell allow this? And why would every Republican vote for it unless they knew what was in the complaint? Unless they knew what was in the transcript? No quid pro quo. Just look, could Trump have, look, the way I framed it, in this other video is on a scale of 1 to 100, with 1 being an absolute nothing burger and 100 being evidence, proof positive, Trump is guilty, all that. We're at like a 7. Like, we are so far away. Yeah, Trump said, could you do us a favor? He probably, poor phrasing. Did he offer anything? Nope. Did the Ukrainians have any idea it was being frozen? Nope. And then all the Republicans come out and go, sure, Democrats, we'll play your game. And they're like, haha, we're doing it, we're winning. It's, oh my God. And then the transcript drops and it's just nothing. And so you actually have a top trend today, not a transcript. I kid you not. Check this out. I saw this story and I couldn't help but say the same thing. It is a trap. Democrats' impeachment inquiry reportedly welcomed by president's advisors, but Trump himself tweets with fury. Yes, it makes perfect sense. Nancy Pelosi saw this coming, but she's lost control of her party and she is roped into the impeachment nonsense. She said Trump wanted this to fire up his base. So why would Trump's advisors welcome this? To fire up his base. The Republicans, the GOP, raised $1 million in 6 hours. Why would Trump be tweeting furiously? That's what he wants, to be the victim, to say, look what they're doing. They're out of their minds. So Trump is going to be like, oh no, these people have lost their minds, in secret, laughing about it. Trump can't come out and say like, aha, this is part of my plan the whole time. For the most part. But he kind of does. Within a half an hour of them announcing this, Trump tweeted out an image saying they were obsessed. He had a video prepared for all of this. I look at all this and I'm like, they have to know. So we have this story from The Hill on the 23rd. Let's get real. Democrats were first to enlist Ukraine in U.S. elections. It has got a ton of shares. But I'm going to say this now. It's still politicking coming from the right. It's the same thing. Ignore it all. Look, I think the stuff about Biden, the only reason it's getting as much traction as it is because the Democrats, some of them are absolutely welcoming it. Some of the comments on Reddit are saying, good, let Biden and Trump share a cell. The progressive far left wing do not like Biden and they want him out same as everybody. So when Trump does this, they laugh. They say, great, take out Biden. We don't care. In this story that says Democrats were the first to enlist Ukraine in elections, it actually sounds more like what the Democrats were saying in this PDF is don't obstruct. However, let me read it for you and give you their context. Don't rely on my opinion. Let me just read it for you. You draw your own conclusion. The Hill reports, while choosing his words carefully, Senator Chris Murphy, a Democrat from Connecticut, made clear by his own account that Ukraine currently enjoyed bipartisan support for its U.S. aid. But that could be jeopardized if the new president acquiesced to requests by Trump and Giuliani to investigate past corruption allegations involving Americans, including Biden's family. Murphy boasted after the meeting that he told the new Ukrainian leader that U.S. aid was his country's most important asset, and it would be viewed as election meddling and disastrous for long-term U.S.-Ukraine relations to bend to the wishes of Trump and Giuliani. Quote, I told Zelensky that he should not insert himself or his government into American politics. I cautioned him that complying with the demands of the president's campaign representatives to investigate a political rival of the president would gravely damage the U.S.-Ukraine relationship. There are few things that Republicans and Democrats agree on in Washington these days, and support for Ukraine is one of them. Okay, let's look. He's not saying do what I want or else, but what the right is accusing this guy of doing, Murphy, is exactly what the Democrats are accusing Trump of. That's why I'm saying you've got to ignore all this stuff. Okay, Trump did not quid pro quo. Ignore what they're accusing Chris Murphy of. Biden was a conflict of interest. I got to say it. And Trump could have done better, but there's nothing really here. What he's saying is don't let Trump interfere. Don't let Trump do this. Don't agree to this. So it's just political posturing. They're claiming the best case they have is Trump saying, look at all the help we're doing. Look at all the aid you receive. Now do us a favor. That's mafioso. Okay, that's literally what the Democrats are doing right now. It's a political game. It's nonsense. I'm going to go through a few other things I want to highlight in this idea. Look, the final takeaway, because it's going to be a long one, is it's a big nothing burger. It is a big old nothing burger. And of course, the left is going to frame it as evidence. It's proof. Sorry. The other day, when they were claiming this is the bombshell, this is going to be it, the Democrats announced impeachment without seeing any evidence. Trump then said he was going to release the transcript, and then all of a sudden we saw the left go, it's not about the transcript, it's about the complaint. I assure you, when the complaint comes out and we see this individual testify, it's going to be a big nothing burger. There's going to be nothing there, nothing definitive, just a waste of time. And then they're going to say, yeah, but we need more than that. It's not just about the complaint. We need a recording. It's all fake news. It's all fake. Check this out. In the end, we see this. Biden-Ukraine dealing, 7 essential facts. This is why I think there may be something more to the Biden accusation than there is. Well, first of all, the Trump accusation is nonsense. Let me put it this way. If Biden did something wrong, and we have this op-ed talking about 7 facts that may show conflicts of interest and a potential abuse of power, and Trump asks someone to investigate it, I don't care. Investigate it. I don't think Trump did anything wrong. They say, Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, joined the board of Ukrainian energy company Burisma in 2014. Hunter Biden had little background in energy. Over a 16-month period, Burisma paid $3.1 million to a bank account associated with Hunter's businesses. Interesting. Not evidence. Circumstantial. I think it warrants looking into. Joe Biden led the Obama administration's policy toward Ukraine when he served as vice president. Biden helped shape Ukraine's energy and anti-corruption policies, issues that directly impact Burisma. Burisma sought to capitalize Hunter Biden's name and relationships, according to the New York Times. Hunter Biden helped assemble the company's legal team, which consisted of American attorneys and consulting firms, including a former Obama Justice Department official. Burisma is led by an oligarch named Mykola Zlochevsky. He served as an ecology minister under pro-Russia former Ukraine leader Viktor Yanukovych, leading to allegations he used his office to benefit Burisma. Burisma was under legal scrutiny shortly before Hunter Biden was appointed to Burisma's board. British authorities froze $23 million of Zlochevsky's assets as part of a corruption investigation. Ukraine opened its own probe later that year. Financial records from Morgan Stanley show numerous lines of money going into the account of Robert H. Biden. The funds originated from oligarchs and anonymous LLCs in Ukraine, China, Kazakhstan, and elsewhere. In 2013, then Vice President Biden and his son Hunter flew aboard Air Force Two to China. 10 days later, Hunter Biden's firm scored a $1.5 billion deal with a subsidiary of the Chinese government's Bank of China. Okay, you want to investigate Trump? Do it. I would like to see this looked into as well. These things sound shady to me. I don't know, I'm not going to dig into all of this, but hey, there's enough questions being raised that I think we can dig into this. In the end, I will stress the point I made earlier. The reason why this is acceptable is because progressive Democrats want Biden out. Elizabeth Warren has taken the lead. And so when Trump comes out and talks about Biden, this story is old. But it pops up because it's advantageous to some of the progressive Democrats. And we're seeing it. Check out this predicted market. Elizabeth Warren is favored to win. Who will win the 2020 Democratic presidential nomination? Elizabeth Warren, 51. Joe Biden, 21. I'll end with one final point. No. Okay, we're going to go a little long. Check this out. The game the media plays. I'm going to give you guys a little bonus content here. Kelly O'Donnell of NBC News said, chopper noise makes it very hard to hear questions for White House staff stenographer who keeps the official record. I was wearing a microphone so we know specifically what I asked the president that is not reflected in the White House transcript. Here's a side-by-side. This tweet is going viral because they're using it to claim that the transcript from Trump is fake. This is part of the evidence. Oh, it's not a transcript. It's fake. Trump's lying. It's not real. They actually think there's more. You know what, man? It was a nothing burger. You overplayed your hand, and now you look foolish. In one transcript, you can see the reporter's questions. In the other, you can see inaudible. That's right. The White House stenographers couldn't hear her question over the helicopter noise and couldn't necessarily hear everything Trump was saying as well. There's no wrongdoing, just inaudible. You can't hear it. How has the left reacted? Quote, another example of the White House doctoring transcripts. Nothing they put out tomorrow can be trusted. And there it is. This is from Zach Pitkanis, Democratic strategist. He's verified. I'm not saying he's the most influential, but he's a former Hillary Clinton senior advisor and Harry Reid comms director, a senior advisor to the Democrats, according to his profile. So let me just get this straight. You took someone writing something when they couldn't hear, and they're now saying the White House is doctoring transcripts. This was in response to the fact that it was actually super early this morning, but last night, Trump was planning on releasing transcripts. They were trying to preempt the news that it was a nothing burger. The Democrats have been spinning around in circles doing absolutely nothing. But let me end by saying, the Democrats have done one thing. There's been one tangible result over everything they've done, and it's hurt the economy. It's a fact, okay? Cue the leftist shrieks of Tim is partisan bias. I'm sorry, check this out. Why Trump impeachment threat is rattling stock market investors, at least for now. Here's one. Will an impeachment inquiry impact U.S. trying to trade talk stocks in the economy? And finally, S&P 500 drops the most in a month on Trump impeachment concerns. That's what you get. That's what the Democrats have done for you. Have they campaigned on policy? Some of them have. And I appreciate some of it, okay? I appreciate Elizabeth Warren talking about big tech. I really, really do. I especially appreciate Tulsi Gabbard and Andrew Yang for the most part, but I like Tulsi better. Where's the policy action? Where's the debate on budgets? Where's the debate on healthcare? Why aren't they arguing with the Senate, with Congress, with the president over healthcare, over the border? Why are they doing this? Why are they going after Trump over a nothing burger? There's nothing in the transcript, okay? It's at best innuendo, and you can't really get anything out of it. You can't convict someone on, it sounds kind of mafioso. But what they're doing is hurting the economy. It's so insane. Because I think there's actual things we could be talking about in terms of the judges Trump's appointing, in terms of the deficit, in terms of the trade war and subsidies to farmers. Hey, these are all real things we can talk about. These are things we could challenge. Hey, the deficit's going up. Shouldn't Republicans be concerned about a balanced budget? In the end, the Democrats ignore all of those things that could be real conversations. Things I believe even conservatives would want to discuss, to figure out how to solve. Instead, they've gone nuts endlessly over impeachment. The walls are closing in, the beginning of the end. You've seen that video? I tweeted it earlier where it's just every single month, the walls are closing in, the beginning of the end. It won't stop. It was a trap. Now, I can't say that, Donald Trump's playing 4D chess. He planned this whole thing, but boy, does he play his hand well. The cards are being dished out. And what do we see? The other day in my video, there was a point made by the New York Times I highlighted and I agreed with that Trump could use impeachment to blame any economic failings on the Democrats. If the economy falters, Trump could lose. The economy is his biggest play. He says, hey, look, things are great. Don't change them. And voters will agree. But if the economy starts taking a hit, voters might say we need to change. We need to change. The economy, it's a big factor. Okay, here you go. There it is. S&P 500 drops the most in a month on Trump impeachment concerns. And there it is. Any negative economic impacts right now, and Trump is going to point to these articles. He's going to point to all the news saying, you see what the Democrats did? The impeachment, they're threatening the economy. Okay? They are. A lot of people say that stocks don't matter to regular Americans. They do. They matter to retirement accounts. Okay? When you talk about stocks and you're talking about 401ks, these are important for retiring Americans. One of the biggest voting blocks, old people. And Trump is going to say, look, the transcript proves I did nothing wrong. The Democrats are obsessed, and it's hurting the economy, and it's hurting the American people. And congratulations. They're playing into his hands. I said I was going to end before. The final point is, when Nancy Pelosi announced impeachment, Trump tweeted out a video within minutes, 20 or 30 minutes, mocking the Democrats over their impeachment obsession. He prepared for this. Perhaps he didn't want it to happen. Perhaps it wasn't orchestrated. But in the end, Trump's team is smart, and they are prepared for this. They hurt the economy. Let's get away from the politicking, okay? The economy is taking a hit because the Democrats didn't see evidence and decided to move forward with an impeachment announcement. We live in strange times, I'll tell you what. The Democrats have no leadership, and that's why they keep falling prey to this. Pelosi understood it, but she's lost control. So there you go. There's your story. We'll wrap it up. The Senate, unanimously agreeing to release this stuff, you think they're gonna allow something to hurt them? I'm sorry, dude. If they're opening the door for you, you're walking into a trap. So there, I'll leave it there. Stick around. Next segment will be coming up. YouTube.com/TimCastNews at 6 p.m. If there's any more developments going through the day, I'll have them, and I will see you all there.